Hello, this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is a video to compare two premium tenkeyless gaming keyboards. The first, the Razer Huntsman Tournament Edition, seen here, and the other is the SteelSeries Apex Pro TKL. These are both TKL keyboards with very premium designs and feature-rich designs to them that are different in a number of different ways. I've done unboxing videos separately if you want to check them out and see them in more depth, so please check out the description for links to those. But in this video, I'll be talking to you about the highlights of these keyboards and what makes them different. Now, the Razer Huntsman Tournament Edition keyboard is a tenkeyless keyboard with some very nice features to it that includes Razer's linear optical switches that I'll go into a bit more depth in a minute. This quite chunky design to it that includes PBT double shot keycaps that are meant to be more durable than other keyboards, as well as a solid compact form factor and a really well designed base to it. It has a bottom row that is standard, which means that you can use your own custom key sets if you so wish, but the highlight is Razer's linear optical switches that have a 1mm actuation distance and require just 40 grams of force to actuate. They use an optical beam which registers your key press, which means a really fast actuation, faster than most standard gaming keyboards. PBT double shot keycaps, as I said, does offer a durable finish and that sort of rough look that you can see with the close-up of the housing here, but they are a very comfortable design thanks to a slight curve that you can see in the keyboard, meaning it sits nicely on the desk and it's quite ergonomic and comfortable to use. These key switches aren't as loud as Razer's clicky switches either, which means it's not quite as obnoxious as some of the other keyboards from Razer. It also has a detachable USB-C cable, which as you can see is very nicely designed, but that does mean that you can attach your own aftermarket one. If you want a fancy custom USB-C design, you can get one made or purchase one from your favorite seller and plug that in as an alternative to using that. And it's nice to have that option to be able to customize the look and feel of your desk, and you can see it just plugs in the rear. You'll also note a number of other accents and design quirks to this keyboard that includes the for gamers, by gamers etching on the rear, as well as little Razer logos and various places that make it shine, and it looks really stylish and is very nice. It has feet that raise up to either 6 or 9 degrees, so you can angle it, and as I said, it already has a slight slope to it anyway, so it sits on the desk at a comfortable position. The SteelSeries Apex Pro, by comparison, comes with its own magnetic wrist rest, which is detachable and comfortable to use, and that has a rubber finish on it. It isn't terribly padded, but it is comfortable on the wrists, and if you don't want to use it, it just comes off with magnets, so there's no clips to worry about or anything else. You can just slide it on and off when you want to. The keycaps themselves are also comfortable and have a nice concave design to them. The highlight though is almost certainly the key switches, which I'll go into a bit more depth about in a minute, but they are incredibly comfortable to use for gaming and for working and all sorts of typing goodness throughout the day. You can also customize both these keyboards in the software to set up a secondary action. Razer has a hypershift technology that allows you to press and hold a key and then set a secondary action on any key, and you can do the same with the SteelSeries Apex Pro. There's a meta key section where you press and hold the SteelSeries logo, and then you can adjust key switches and change them, including macros and all sorts. As I said, this keyboard comes with OmniPoint adjustable mechanical switches. Now these switches are across the middle of the keyboard, and you'll see them in white here. With these keys you can adjust and customize the actuation point of the keys. They can go from 0.4mm to 3.6mm. You'll note when I said about the Razer Huntsman that it was 1mm actuation, that's standard. On the SteelSeries Apex Pro you can customize the levels within the software to be whatever you want, and you can do that on a per key basis across the entirety of the main board, so not the escape and function keys and the arrow keys on the right hand side, but the main section of the keyboard you can customize not only the RGB lighting but also the actuation of the keys, which means you can set to have just a light feather touch, resulting in an actuation of those keys, or a harder press depending on what your preference is, and anywhere in between those two. And that's really great in that terms of customization, because it means you can tweak it to be the way you want it. Both key setups, both from Razer and SteelSeries, are guaranteed up to 100 million key presses, so you've got a longevity guarantee on those. The Apex Pro comes with a dual USB connection option, which means you get USB pass-through, which isn't something that you have on the Huntsman. That only has a single USB-C connection, but that does mean you get a slightly chunkier fare on the Apex Pro in terms of the cabling, but you do get a nice bit of channeling. It isn't detachable cable, unfortunately, and it's not USB-C, so it's not quite as snazzy. In fact, it's nowhere near as snazzy as the Huntsman Tournament Edition, but you can channel that cable in the direction you want and set it up so it looks nice on your desk still. Obviously, the advantage of having pass-through is a good selling point for many. It means simple things like you can plug in a mouse cable, a headset cable, or whatever else, whether it's a dongle for another device, really easily. Even just, I use mine for example for SD card readers. You can just plug them in there, something simple like that, and you can see that that lights up and it's at the back and it's fairly easy to access. Another thing that you'll note is that the RGB lighting on the Apex Pro is magnificent, and out of the two, as you will see as go through this video, the Apex Pro has much better RGB lighting on it. It shines through a lot nicer and it looks a lot better. There's a lot more customization that you can do with it, and there's loads of glorious reactive settings and schemes in the lighting that you can set up within the SteelSeries Engine that you can show off and see. The Apex Pro TKL also shines because it has a little OLED screen on it, which can be customized a number of ways. You can use that screen to display GIFs, you can put your own logo on there, you can customize that. You can also connect it with various different apps that then do other things. For example, give you system information at a glance so that you can see the temperatures of your CPU, your GPU, your RAM, the usage of those devices, and what's under pressure. You can also connect it with Discord so that you can see who's talking in the Discord channel that you're in, and then you can also see when they're muted, when they join the channel, leave the channel. You can customize the settings of that as well and change the way that works. You'll see there's a media control wheel so you can adjust the volume. There's also a button below that that you can press in different ways and like skip, pause, play and rewind tracks. So single press plays, double press skips, triple press rewinds. So you have easy access to the media controls on this keyboard, and that makes it really nice too. Now, one of the gripes that I had with the Huntsman was that although the RGB lighting is nice, it doesn't show through the PBT double shot keycaps very well. You'll see examples here as I show close-ups of the keys where some of the lettering is dark in places and it isn't letting as much light through as I'd like. I've seen this problem on other keyboards. The end result is a keyboard that's not terribly bright at all, which is a real shame, and it's something that I didn't note when I looked at the Huntsman Mini, which I've done as a separate video, but you can see them sort of side by side in these two video clips. This is the Apex Pro, which looks a lot brighter, and it lets through a lot more light. You can see all of the key lettering really easily, whether the lighting is on or not, but it's much brighter. It's some really nice visual effects from it, a really nice look and feel on it. If you want RGB lighting, you think that's important, the Apex Pro is probably the nicer of the two. Both these keyboards are fantastic bits of kit though. I really like them for different reasons. The Apex Pro is probably my favourite out of the two for the simple reason that you can customize so many different things about it. As I said, you can customize the RGB lighting. It has a number of different RGB effects. You can also adjust the actuation force of each of the keys. You can program and reprogram all the keys on the keyboard within the software, which is something you can do with Razers as well, and set a secondary action. Again, that's something you can do with Razers so that you can double up your keys. You can set macros and all sorts within the software. The look and feel of it is probably nicer, and the display screen and things like that are nicer too, but that isn't to say the Huntsman isn't a great piece of kit. A very nice keyboard, quieter than most Razer keyboards, actuates really quickly, comfortable to use all day long, brilliant piece of hardware. Be sure to check out the full unboxings, the links in the description, and let me know in the comments if you've got any questions. Thanks for watching. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Hope you found it useful, interesting, hilarious, or all of the above. Be sure to check out the description for other information you might find interesting, and subscribe and watch these other videos as well that I think might be useful to you, and have a great life.